Good day, and welcome to Far Reaches. We are four people from similar parts of the world who have wound up chasing different dreams and living different lives. We are Richard, Rawley, Joel, and Micah. Richard and Micah are from Southeast Oregon, from two small ranching communities known as Pine Creek and Plush. Rawley and Joel are from Northeast Oregon, from the Pendleton area. We met through college, mutual friends, and heard of stories of each other. Somehow wound up being at the same place at the same time. See, we live and work in different parts of the U.S. now and have all taken different paths to get to where we are. We all talk separately and live far apart. So we decided we should try and talk more together. We hope you come along and enjoy. And I was like, oh, we're live. And hey, how your mom and them? Welcome to the Far Reaches. Far Reaches Live, Far Reaches broadcast, Far Reaches everything. We're reaching out like never before. So thank you all for joining and playing along right now. I'm Micah. We still got Richard, Mr. Joel. And for those of you who are watching this and not listening to it, which could be the same thing, but Raleigh's trying to join. He says connecting the audio, but you know how that might go. So if he shows up, he shows up. But again, thanks a lot. Welcome to this edition. This week and always, we're brought to you by our good friends at B&K Auto Salvage. Joel, where's B&K Auto Salvage?
Baker City and LeGrand.
Outstanding. I knew I could count on you.
All right.
Well, yeah, nailed it. Out of the park. Kids, that was totally cold, which is not a smart thing to do, but we did it anyway. So yes, our good friends at B&K still doing promo code REACHER. So if you're getting pulled parts off the counter or if you're selling some scrap, you'll get a little bump on the scrap rate and a little discount on the pulled parts. So before you go buy anything new, give them a check. They might have it there already. And if you let them know what you're looking for, maybe they'll track it down. So thanks again, everybody. Well, we're going to jump right in. The first segment every week. What better way to start off a meeting than with the old patented reach around? So we're going to kick that off. Joel, you're looking like antsy the pantsy. Let's give us your weekly update there, good sir.
I feel like this is the first time in a while we went. I think we're on a pretty consistent streak of podcasts, aren't we? Like,
this will be 2 weeks in a row.
Not much time has passed since the last one.
A week. Yeah.
We had a pretty good Independence Day party over here. I hosted a small party at Brian's. Brian's out of town.
Oh, damn! Now we find out.
So I'm I guess I had to take care of all his chores for a week. He has a lot of chores.
I was just gonna say you enjoy mowing the yard and trimming the shrubs and yeah, the guy's a menace. He's always
do every day. Take out the garbage, water the plants, mow.
Does he have like the chore wheel on the refrigerator that gets spun around, or does Law Dog give him a allowance? How's this working out? I'm curious.
No, he just
does it.
That's a lot of stuff to do.
Brian's list of chores. Brian, we salute you, good sir. We got Rawley's sign up. No Rawley yet. I don't think we can hear him. So yeah, Joel, good 4th of July party. Little shindig, blow anything up.
Yeah. Set off some of Brian's fireworks. Hopefully he doesn't. I guess he'll listen to this maybe and find out.
That's beautiful.
I don't think we were supposed to light off fireworks this year because of the fire.
There's a fire ban, I think. Is that why your beard's trimmed up? Did you burn it a little bit?
Couple close calls, but
good. No. Good. That's action. Man of the people right there.
No, yeah, I had to trim up the beard recently because it was like I was drinking my coffee and it got caught in it and spilled down my shirt. You know, it's time to fix it.
Sort of wicked. You're like, wait, where did that go? And then it just comes dripping out. Rawls, Yata.
Made it.
Beautiful. We can hear you too. That's awesome. That's always hey, we could hear Rawley last week. It was great. I was like, yeah, that's what you say.
Yeah. It's a hot son of a bitch up here today.
Oh, and we're live, by the way, too. Not that it changes what we say, but just so you know. I think
that's good.
Legally.
So where are we at?
I think we're on the YouTube and the Facebook. Richard's on the mute, or he would tell us that.
Yes, we're on Facebook and we're mostly just on YouTube. They can get to us through YouTube, through Facebook.
Oh, perfect.
how can you argue that? Joel was just giving us the update. Basically, he's been doing Big Daddy's chores, letting knife his fireworks, and drinking coffee.
Good recap.
That's what it's all about, just bringing it all together. Anything else? That's a pretty good reach around. What else? There's got to be something else going on. You've been playing golf or working?
Yeah. We played golf over the weekend. That's about it, though. I saw my cousin Jeff. I hadn't seen him in a few years. He was in town this weekend visiting his parents.
Coolio.
So I hung out with him a couple times. Met his kids, my cousins, for the first time I think ever. They're 9 and 6 or something.
Oh wow, those are always fun meetings. There's like this commonality you don't really know, but you don't know anything about them besides that.
Yeah, if I saw the one kid, the older kid, if I just saw him on the street, I'm like, that kid's definitely a Curran. He's like, he's just like got red hair and freckles. Poor bastard.
I love it. I can relate to that. I was walking down the street one time in Lakeview, and I'd been gone. I think I'd come back from the Navy. I'd been gone for a while. And somebody stops me down by the coast to coast and like, all right, I know you're a Wells, but which one do you belong to? Robert or Gordon? I'm like, Gordon's my dad. Ah, okay. Well, I could tell. Just wanted to say hi. No idea who the hell it was to this day, but they knew I was a Wells. So I can relate to the spot and the currents on the street. Beautiful. Rawls, why don't you give us a reach around, mister?
Well, if you say so.
You're wearing your gloves.
Oh, got almost done with all my first cutting hay, and today I was out salting cattle and getting some wells turned on to get some water up where there's no grass. Lots of grasshoppers. It's just summer's just starting, and it's already a dirty hot son of a gun. So hopefully we can get the grass to last until we need to, and we got, unlike a lot of places, we do have some decent irrigation water here still with the lake. So I feel pretty fortunate. I'm here in Prairie City, and John Day country is all shutting water off, and all of Richard's countries sounds like they're limited on water down in those parts too, a lot of them. So we'll just take what we get this year and hope for a better year next year. But
the grasshoppers real bad. You mentioned grass. I feel like I read an article fairly recently about it's like a record bad year for grasshoppers. I didn't realize that they destroy people's crops.
Oh yeah, well, not just crops, but all of our forage for the livestock, our range ground. I mean, you drive across there in a 4-wheeler, and you got to wear a mask because you're just getting pelted with grasshoppers and Mormon crickets, which we are blessed with in these parts. They're about the size of your thumb, so they eat as much as a calf will eat in a day, I think. But not a whole lot, just kind of grinding through summer here. So
How was the hay crop?
Grass was good. We had really good grass season for the spring. I mean, it was dry obviously, but if you got your water on, the cooler temperatures that we had up until about 3 weeks ago were great for grass. Alfalfa was not nearly as good. I don't know if too many producers, unless they held off a couple weeks to cut it, when we finally got some heat that had good alfalfa. So we'll have a good second cutting, lots of heat and good water still. So that'll come, but just not all in all, not too bad. I was a little disappointed looking for more alfalfa tonnage, but we've got some grain hay coming that'll be pretty good. It hasn't been a real good year for that either, but it should be decent. So
good. Glad to hear at least something might perk through. So.
Yeah, nope. That's just it's kind of the nature of the occupation.
Yes.
You have lots of ups and downs in lots of different areas, and you just kind of have to put your seatbelt on and hold on for the ride some years.
average it out and hope for the best next and plan different. And
Yeah.
Mother Nature's parents were not married. She's a real bastard sometimes. So
Yeah.
it'll get you. But that's, as everybody says, if it was easy, everybody'd be doing it. And
Yeah.
or what was the other one? You work 80-hour weeks. You don't have to work 40-hour week. That's
That's the
the
truth.
blessing and the curse. Yeah. So
How's the hurricane treating you?
it's a coming. We've had a couple of preemptives so far. I've seen several places that are already closed tomorrow. Like I just paid my electric bill today. They're closed tomorrow. They probably just don't want to take all the phone calls. And a couple other places I've seen are closed already. So we'll see if it's even that, oftentimes when everybody freaks out, you don't get anything. We'll probably have 40 inches of rain or something. So yeah, we've had a couple of blasts early this afternoon, like 4 o'clock, 4:30 my time. Power went out for quite a while. Well, I guess about half hour, but it seems like quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just pouring pretty good wind as well. And then it came back. So it's calm right now, but it doesn't take but a few seconds before it's right up in your ass. So we'll see.
Was it the Irma? It's gonna hit Tampa. That's the same one that's gonna hit you.
Yeah, we'll get a good side blast of it, not the direct like Tampa's going to get, but we're a couple hours from Tampa, that direction, probably about an hour and a half or so inland difference than Tampa is. So we won't get the direct hammer, but we have some remnants for sure. Tried to mow the front yard today. What was that, Richard?
Gonna be wet.
It's going to be wet. Yes. Like my front yard's too wet to even walk in right now. It catches water really weird. So like it just oozes off the curb. Like you can't even hardly step in some parts. So I couldn't mow it today. I mowed the backyard, but there's no way I could I would have buried my lawnmower in my front yard. It'd have been like remnants of haying season. When like, is that wet? Brr. Yeah, that's wet. Don't go there. So
I feel like Richard and Rawley are like, what are you fucking bragging over here?
yeah, exactly. I know. I feel bad every time for a while, but then I get over it.
I'm actually just looked at the radar, and we've got a big cell coming across Baker right over the top of the wow is going to hit us here in a minute. I doubt there's moisture in it, but I'm hoping there is. Not that it's going to help much, but it'd sure be nice.
Really, now you can turn it away. It's like found $1 in the couch. It's still $1.
Yeah, no. I wish it was one of those ones where it's a 5-minute downpour and you get a ½ inch. That'd be good.
That's what she said. And that's why I can't be a weatherman. Well, amongst other reasons, but that would be the main one. So, are you ready for your 5-minute downpour, honey?
I'm trying to drink here.
Oh, well, since I'm yammering about the hurricane, I'll give my reach around too. I went lucky enough to blast off to Texas last Friday, and had a fun flight over there. Was probably on the no-fly list, and then saw Robert O'Keen on Saturday, which was golden. Played some golf on Sunday, and played some golf again yesterday, right up to couple hours before my flight. So I stole my buddy's pickup and hauled us to the airport and left it there, and he got a ride. So it was and had a great 4th of July barbecue. We always have shop parties in our part of the world. Everybody has barn parties. Where I was at around Texas, I was around Dimmitt and Happy and Hereford, which is all south of Amarillo. So really cool barn party. Had of course smokers going and barbecue, and we got there just when everything was ready to eat. So that was awesome. And then played some dominoes. I got initiated into the world of 42. I never really liked dominoes, but I played some anyways and had a good time. So I need to figure out how to play that better, as everybody else at the table will agree. But we had fun anyways. So like such tremendous hospitality at the barn. It used to be a show barn, still kind of is, but they had it's classic 17 refrigerators and old couches and 14 TVs and VCRs, and then just some amazing like mid 80s, 70s memorabilia all over the walls. So we would have been very much at home there. So it was great to walk in and everybody's just like, howdy. people just boil up and introduce themselves. Make yourself at home. Beer's over there, food's over there, playing games over here, and you just feel you don't know anybody there, but you feel welcome and right at home. So that's just what I love about that part of the world too. I think it's partly that part of the world, and it's also the people that we usually tend to gather with. I think play a huge role in that as well. So I met some great guys playing golf. We had a hoot with my vertigo stuff, and your whatever you want to call it. Golf is still quite the challenge at times. So we had fun, and they put up with me. But
on that now,
what's that?
Play him in your shitty golf game on your vertigo now.
Oh yeah, wouldn't you? Like if you had that kind of chance? I mean, fuck, dude.
I'll
write you the prescription so you can use it, man. It'd be perfect. Noticeably shitter than any other time. So, but thanks to Don and everybody else out there. I appreciate all their hospitality. What was that, Rawls?
I was gonna say it is good to have an excuse for why you can't play golf worth a shit.
I mean, everybody's got an excuse why they can't play golf. Like, oh, my back's sore today, or that driver's getting a little crappy, or those aren't the right golf balls, or that's just common. So, just fit right in. So I have some good shots and I have some crappy ones that almost fall over, and everybody would laugh. So thanks again to everybody out there, Jimmy, Don, everybody else for the hospitality and all the adventures. So we
that domino is probably an interesting thing to read up on. I bet that was like in its heyday. When do you think?
Oh, dude, it used to just probably
the
15, 20 years, 20 years and back. I think it used to just be.
20 years ago.
What's that?
20 years ago?
Yeah.
No, dominoes hasn't been popular.
Well, probably not in Brooklyn, I'm guessing not, but other places. I mean, from the stories everybody was telling when we were playing, it was 10 to 15 years ago. It used to be like every Friday night or whatever, there'd be just tables for people playing dominoes, and it's been dwindling every year. So that part of the world, in the past 15 to 20 years, it's been less.
Like Willie Nelson's younger days, he was like the world champion dominoes player or something.
I did not know that. Perhaps he was. So, I mean, obviously longer ago too, but everybody that we were talking at the table just about that, it's hard to get 4 to 8 people to come play dominoes. And 10, 15 years ago, it was pretty much what was happening at all times. So
did I ever tell you about the time I tried to find a pinochle group in New York City?
No, that must have been.
This was at the height of the meetup.com. Do you remember that site? Well, people still use it. Like if you move to a new city and you're like, you can look on there, there's interest groups, and you can find 1,000 other people who want to do the same thing.
Cool.
Except for Pinochle, I looked on that, and there was one other person in New York City looking for a Pinochle game.
Is that code for something else?
Yeah, it's like, I'm not even going to bother joining this group. We don't even have enough for one game.
Yeah, 2 is not really a group, is it? I don't know what's the definition of a group, but that seems slim. Wow.
Where do you play Pinochle in Pendleton?
My whole family likes to get together and play Pinochle. So every time we like have a dinner or something at somebody's house, we all play. We had a pretty wild game of Lou recently. I tell you about that.
No.
When was Darren's bachelor party?
A couple 3 weeks ago.
Oh, well, at his bachelor party, we got together and played Lou afterwards. That was a pretty wild game. At one point, I was down like $800.
Oh, you mentioned that. That's right. Yeah. It's all coming back to me now.
Lose track of time. I don't know.
It happens. Time warps. But yeah, and then I'll save the rest of my trip for some grinding my gears or something else. So it's entertaining. Richard, you have reach around activity?
We're going on vacation, so we're excited about that.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
You're
going to go celebrate my parents' 50-something anniversary. So all their kids are terrible people.
Yes.
We've never been able to put a party together, so we're all just going down to my youngest sister's place in California near it, and we're going to hang out with my parents for 2 or 3 days. So they get to see me all the time, so I don't know what the real bonus for, I guess, me driving down there. Really, they only care about the kid. So
Yeah, they've had their fill of you by now.
yeah. I don't have any new tricks to show them.
Work on something in the car, probably. I'm sure Al has a list of things she's working on she hasn't told you about yet.
Yes. No, everything's good. We had that little bit of pasture that we got really helped out, and they stopped escaping for an entire week, so that was fun.
Little victories.
Yeah, and we went to Paisley. We love to go to Paisley over the weekend for our 4th of July celebration, and met up with our buddy Paul.
Buddy Paul?
Yep.
Hi, Paul.
Unexpected meeting. We had no idea Ben was going to be there, but yeah,
so you, Ben, and Paul were all in Paisley 4th of July.
4th of July Eve. Yeah.
And I didn't hear about it on the news. That's interesting.
Yes. Well, Ben's the only one that got kicked out of the bar, oddly enough.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Somebody has to represent the group.
Yeah, somebody had to pick up the last slack because Paul had a White Claw and I had an iced tea. So, anyways.
For it.
No, I take that. Paul had to have iced tea because they didn't have a White Claw, the Pioneer. So
even worse, I think I could not be happier that they did not have White Claw. Is Paul going through the change or something? Is that what we should know about?
A little menopausal right now, yeah.
Menopausing, is that what he's doing? Yeah, that's right. Any man that drinks White Claw, I question your man card right now, right here. It's starting to tear.
Calm down.
Just saying. Somebody's going to be griping about it, so I'm going to preempt a strike. I've never even had it. So, Joel, you like it? You must.
Yeah, I like White Claw.
We have fires blowing up all around us. There's one in Shasta. I don't know how contained it is, but it burned down the one trestle that runs the northwest train. And so, or north-south train, sorry. Yeah, so they don't know. They can route the train around to through some short line railroads and like Amtrak and the major things, but they don't know how long it's going to take to rebuild the trestle. It flat melted it. And then the next fire that came up is in Bernie in Hell's Garden, which is really close to the other way you take the train. So
naturally.
Yeah. Anyway, so last time the train was shut down, it was like 3 months when the mudslide on Willamette Pass shut it down, and there was no way to reroute it there. So yeah, now that we can't get anything in the Pacific Northwest with the train running, it should be really excited to see how little stuff we can get without the train running. So
it just keeps on getting better.
But yeah, so it's a good week, good 4th of July. I was in bed before the fireworks, but the border collie kept me up and engaged. So
the update on the one that got sprayed by the skunk.
Oh, he's good. He has a little sore on his nose that's taking forever to heal. So
From the skunk?
We don't know. It's hard to tell. So could be from his roommate. I don't know.
Dang kids, anyways.
But what was I going to say? Oh, the highlight of the week was following the Lakeview announcements fight over what you should do with your dogs during fireworks. Highly entertaining and completely. If there's any question who's on the right, who's conservative, and who's liberal in Lake County, it was all resolved last week for 4th of July on the dog and vets conversation and the fireworks. So anyways,
you must divulge a little bit more on that. I'm now extra curious.
Well, there was a post of a sign that said be considerate of dogs and vets, and something that said just that you shouldn't have fireworks. Well, that's like heresy in Lakeview. So
and most places,
yeah, people fundraise and everything so that we have a big fireworks show. So the somebody took offense to the fact that they would even suggest that there would be not fireworks, and that if you had a problem with your damn dog, figure it out yourself, and not expect everybody to bend to your will and care for your pets. So I took it to heart. I had my 2 dogs up in the bedroom with me during the firecrackers, and we all survived, and we didn't have to disrupt anybody's celebration.
Very considerate of you. Yes, you cannot rule by the exception.
Yes.
So very nice. That's
Well,
complete opposite. Where I lived in Lincoln, it was like mandatory. You spend at least $10,000 on every house for fireworks. Like the craziest place I've seen fireworks to date. Absolute insanity. And it would usually last 2 or 3 days. So I thought, wow, that's just what you do in that part of the world. And even my buddy and his wife and some family came down from Minnesota one year, and I'm like, you got to come down for the 4th. We'll do some barbecue. And they're like, holy crap. And we were just wandering around because the whole street is basically just people blowing shit up. So we just wandered around and said howdy and blew stuff up and had a beverage and wandered back to the house. But it was like hand-to-hand combat there. And we said a word.
In Lakeview, fireworks used to be bedlam, especially in the little hood that I lived in.
Oh,
there was cannons, and we would drive around and shoot bottle rockets at each other from vehicles. I saw none of that this year, so
dang it, really losing there.
Pretty mild 4th of July situations. But the one interesting thing that happened over the 4th of July is there was several incidents where the cops had to be called at night because of people setting fireworks off at like 2 a.m. and in various different parts of town. And surprisingly, no cops ever showed up to investigate. I don't know what they were doing. They must have had a lot more important stuff to do, but they were absent of all firework complaint reports.
Oh, a rumph. Yeah. It was fond memories of shooting bottle rockets at each other and firecrackers and M80s. And oftentimes those things were kind of a year-round event. I couldn't go to the National FFA convention one year because of that. So it happens. So, yeah, fun 4th. It was fun. We blew a lot of shit up in Tejas too. But there's like, you don't do it in town. You got to be out in the country. So that was luckily the barn party was pretty good distance out in middle of nowhere, so we could blow stuff up. But in town, it's like you'd never shoot off fireworks in town. That's ridiculous. So it's funny how you go different places. And somebody sent me the one of the Karens too was freaking out on, I think it was Instagram, fireworks going off, and she's just absolutely yelling and rolling around in the driveway that I live here too. It was disturbing. But everybody's got an opinion, and we are all entitled to listen to it. So carry on. Which is, I guess, what we do every week anyway. So you don't like my opinion and like it, Missy. Anything else, Brad Burr? That's a pretty good reach around. I think he said no. So that wandered us right into our next segment, which is the entertainment spotlight. We did a back-to-back reach a request this week, and so several people had requested both what we did last week, which would be Man from Snowy River, and in between those last two, several people requested Raising Arizona, and it's one of my all-time favorite movies as well, and I think everybody's seen it. And so I was like, wow, well, what the hell, that's just crazy enough to work. So what was Raising Arizona this week? I think it is 1987. Is that right? Let me pull up my IMDb. Yes, 1987. The Coen brothers, uncredited directors, both writers, of course, Nicolas Cage and Holly Hunter were the main characters. Did anybody else get a chance to relive this classic of American culture? Richard did. Good job. Rawls?
No, sir.
You don't have a DVD player in the Swather yet?
No, sir.
Damn it, man. All right. Add that to your Christmas list. Mr. Joel?
Yeah, I actually did watch it. After that podcast where you guys gave me shit for never having seen it. So it's been like 2 or 3 weeks. I've already forgotten what it's. I remember like enjoying it fine, but I don't remember what it was about.
Crazy couple
to pick up on it.
So Nicolas Cage, Holly Hunter. Nicolas Cage is a repeat offender, always robbing trying to rob a Quickie Mart.
Take a baby or something, right?
What's that?
Yeah, okay, I remember now.
Yeah, Holly Hunter works at the prison. That's how they meet. She's always taking the picture. Turn to the right, show the tattoo. And so they meet, they fall in love, of course, they get married. And the next best thing you got to do is got to have some kids, because they're just living the salad days, as they call it, in their single wide trailer in the middle of Arizona. And there's like a scene, she's like kicking back in her crappy lawn chair, and he's literally just watering the dirt. And the sun goes down, and she's like, oh, that was beautiful. We need to have kids. So they keep trying to have kids. They can't. Famous couple in Arizona has 5 kids. So they decide, well, that's too many anyway. So they go steal one of them. And chaos ensues, as you might expect from that as well. So a couple of Haas buddies, H.I. McDonough is Nicolas Cage's name. A couple of his buddies break out of prison and come stay at the house for a while. His boss recommends they have a threesome, or switch wives, actually. That doesn't go well, and then it just keeps getting worse. But one of the best scene, though, I think I don't know how long it is, but it's when I just has an awful bad day and he needs to stop and get some Huggies. And so it's him and the wife and the little boy. It's got to be Huggies. So he goes into the Quickie Mart and he grabs a thing of pantyhose, puts them on his head, grabs some Huggies, and walks up to the counter. And, it's just a crappy Quickie Mart. And I'll be taking these Huggies and any cash you might have. And that's when Holly Hunter's out in the car, and she's like reading a little poem to the boy. She's like, she sees him holding up the guy at the counter, and she just gets out and she starts yelling, "You son of a bitch!" And he's like, "You better hurry up. I'm in Dutch with a wife." She takes off in the car. And then the craziest cop scene ever. They must shoot at least 9,000 rounds out of their 6-shot revolvers.
It was so irresponsible, the amount of shooting the cops were doing.
Oh, they're just blasting the house. They're blasting down the street. They're blasting everywhere. Just like the cops actually leaning out of the car and the guy's driving just down the street at the house, shoots the Huggies out of his hands. That whole scene just absolutely slays me, because then he goes to another store, going down the aisle, and he's looking, he's like, Pampers, Huggies. And so those get blasted out of his hand, and it's absolutely, some of the cinematography in this movie is absolutely hilarious, where they track, there's dogs chasing them and all just sorts of chaos, but it's got to be the Huggies. And so just freaking slays me. The writing is just top notch, I think.
That shooting scene made me realize that the entire movie is essentially a Western. Like
yes.
A spaghetti Western with like more modern situations.
There's even a bank robbery in it.
Yeah,
that's a great point. I think I would totally call it that. Charles, you ever seen it before?
No, sir.
Oh my goodness.
I haven't.
Yeah.
No.
It's
I'll have to now.
the blasting, and he stops this old guy to get a ride when he's running from the cops, and the guy's like, "Son, you got a panty on your head." He's like, "Just drive fast." And the guy takes off, and they end up coming up to this intersection in the street, and the guy's like, "Can I stop?" And they just both go, "Ah!" And he locks the brakes up, and he flies right out the front of the pickup into the yard. It's like, "Thank you." And it runs into the house. It's just like,
sounds like
it's
a good one.
Oh my gosh, dude, it's so funny. And like the writing, I think the script or whatever the actors delivered is just absolutely hilarious. Him and John Goodman is one of his buddies that breaks out of prison, and they have this horrific fight scene in the house. Like, he actually literally gets tossed through the wall of a single wide, right, and it lands right on the shitter, and so we've all been in like the 1972 single wide mobile home, where you could basically just push through the wall at any given time. So they're in the front room, and he goes right through the wall and lands on the shitter. It's absolutely hilarious, but it's a good knockdown, drag out fight. So yeah, you got car chases, you got cops, you got bank robbery, you got fights, you got love.
Sounds like a well-rounded redneck movie.
It is. I think I was in probably a sophomore, I guess, in high school, maybe somewhere in that realm. We still lived in Pinekirk. We hadn't moved to town yet. And my buddy's like, "Oh, you got to watch this movie." It's like, it says Raising Arizona on the cover, and it's kind of got like a mountain, background and a little bit of color. And like, you don't even know what the hell it's about. You're like, "What is this?" It does look like a Western even from that. He's like, "Dude, it's the funniest movie you've ever seen." I'm like, whatever. So then I watch it. I'm like, "What the crap is this, dude?" It's just like, complete chaos the whole entire time. So yeah, I recommend it. Richard, what do you think, man? You're on mute, brother.
I think Guy Ritchie stole all of his chase scenes from Raising Arizona.
There is a distinct possibility of that. No doubt.
Well, Lady and I were just watching it before we started this, and I don't think she's ever seen it, but she was giggling at parts of it. I think it takes the edge off when you see it 40 times. But
probably so. Yeah.
I still enjoy it. I never realized it, but in the chase scene, everybody's wearing pastels, except for the cops and High.
Oh wow. Yeah, because like the clerk from the Quickie Mart's one yellow, and then the dude driving the pickup is like a flowered kind of bluish shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All looked like it looked like everybody it was all polyester completely.
And then in the like the Safeway, yeah, everybody like late night shopping. There's like ladies in their like pink pants and yellow shirts with curlers in their hair shopping, and just the cops were just blazing all the way through the store.
And High had like a knockoff members only jacket.
And those shitty wicker shoes, you know. They were nice and white at the beginning of the day because they were having lunch with some decent company. And so it's like his company coming over, white shoes, kind of like the ones on vacation that Eddie gives Clark, you know. And they're all nice and white. When he gets back to the house after all the chasing, like they're just completely destroyed. They're like brown, and that's just everything's gone to hell. From the good afternoon, we're gonna have nice lunch with decent company, to just absolute everything's just shredded.
I think that the color is significant because John Goodman and the guy that plays his partner, and then the guy that plays the biker, and then the Arizonas are a neutral palette, and High fluctuates between the neutral color palette and the bright color palette. And then all the bad guys all have a dark color costume scheme. But High, depending on where he is in his trajectory throughout the movie, is either wearing dark or he's wearing a more bright color. And then when you go to the Arizona's house, it's completely neutral.
It is like as bland as could be possible. Yeah. That's a $500 camel hair coat.
Yeah. And unpainted Arizona. Like
everything's bland. Everything is. Yeah, the guy's name is Nathan Arizona, and he's got a big unpainted Arizona, so it's all like raw wood furniture, you know, and that's his whole shtick, and it's all unfinished. But one of the best lines of that from the Arizonas is, you know, when the kid gets taken, of course the FBI is there and the cops are there and they're trying to get a description and this and that. Was the child wearing anything? Nobody sleeps naked in this house. He was wearing his damn dinner jacket or something, and then he's wearing his damn jammies. Sir, can you describe the jammies? I don't know. I have jammies. I got Yodas and shit on them. And like, that is a line there. I can call my buddy Cody, no matter how shitty a day he's having. If I say, I don't know, I got Yodas and shit on him, he will laugh. So that's one of my favorite lines of the entire movie.
I think it's the interesting part is the only time that there's any color in the Arizona's life, the Nathan Aaron and his wife, is at the end when the Nathan Arizona is a football player.
In the dream.
Yeah, everything's colorful after the showdown with the biker, which could or could not be the High's unborn brother.
Yeah, I was when I started watching it today, I remember you'd mentioned something about that last time, and I was trying to think what the hell it was, because I noticed, so I started watching extra close on that, and like when he pulls up to the place at the prison where the guys escaped, and there's a huge hole in the ground, and like 10 cops standing around, like he pulls up on his motorcycle and like nobody even looks at him. Like, is he really there? But then he has these interactions with other people, so I couldn't figure it out yet. But it's there's so many damn good lines in this movie. It slays me, and it's pretty much entertaining the whole entire time. It ends up happy, especially like maybe it was just Utah. So
I always thought the salad years since this movie is like sort of retirement. then the first time I watched it, I realized it's that time like when you're in your 20s and like you don't have much food or you have food, but you don't have necessarily the best food. And like this whole thing's like a transition out of the salad years and high maturing.
I meant to look that up because I've always remembered that line, but I never had put it all together exactly what context it was being used in. So I'll take that for the truth.
Joel,
What's
did you
neat is
ever
dip
go back
that.
and watch Snowy River?
No, you'll hold that to me next week.
I will.
I thought about it a few times, but
That's not bad. That's better than nothing. Good God. So yeah, highly recommend if you haven't seen it. Even if you have, to pay attention and go back and listen to Richard's context about the color palette of the people in the thing, because I totally missed that. So
I didn't know this. Did you guys I'm sure you have not seen it, but I'll ask you anyway. The movie La La Land. Anybody?
I started about 10 minutes in, maybe, when they were like on the freeway dancing on cars and shit. I was like, I can't handle this. And I left.
I fucking loved that movie. Went to it in the movie theater, and then I bought it when it came out on video. I was watching it one night with my friend, and she was like, I can't tolerate the color pattern in this movie. And apparently, I don't know if in every movie, but movies will pick a color palette for it, apparently. And for La La Land, it's like a cliche one. It's like reds, yellows, bright reds, yellows, blues, and greens, like all bright colors. And once she pointed that out to me, now I can't watch it and see anything else except for how weird it is. Everybody's in like the same 4 dresses.
Oh wow. Yeah, it never registers in my brain hardly, unless like everybody's in black and white and somebody's in color. Other than that, it just goes right over the top of my head.
Yeah, just kind of manipulate you with colors.
Many ways. Yes.
Set the mood.
Sons of bitches.
Like, isn't it Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid that starts black and white?
Does it start black and white? I think it does. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And sometimes they'll do that. Some like cop movies, film noir stuff will do that. But I can't remember off the top of my head. So yes, get a chance, check it out, and let us know what you think.
I want to let everybody know I watched the Amazon Tomorrow War.
Oh yeah, I did too.
That was good. I have been waiting for like a big scale blockbuster, just not put much thought into it, but have a lot of good fun. That movie had a decent storyline that was like you could get invested in, and yeah, it was just a really super good movie, and it would have been awesome in the big screen. And Chris Pratt just nailed it, and the girl that plays his daughter was awesome. And then the supporting cast of guys were all really entertaining and really cool. So really highly recommend.
It's called Tomorrow War?
Yeah, on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
The guy that plays like the nervous guy, he's also in the show Veep. I don't know that guy's name, but I see him in stuff all the time, and he is so funny in everything he's in. I also recommend it. It was kind of refreshing. It didn't have any like woke nonsense in it. It was just a good old fashioned disaster movie.
I like it. And Chris Pratt's been kind of leading that charge in the Hollywood scale.
Yeah, he has.
Like he's making is he making a Vince Flynn book? I think into a movie.
The what?
He's making I think it's a Vince Flynn book or Jack Carr into a movie, I believe. He's doing that right now. So, and that's definitely not PC. So, sweet. Well, let's roll to our intellectual moment of the week. I think that's a good transition. This again brought to you by our outstanding and most amazing friends at Pendleton Mixer and Cigar, downtown Pendleton. Promo code SHOPKEEP. Promo code SHOPKEEP. Tell them we sent you. We'll see what they feel like passing along this week. So, again, I was just scrolling through random quotes throughout the week and got one of and I was listening to this person's story, one of them on the fight this week. It's Abraham Lincoln. And so Lincoln quote came up: "Be sure you put your feet in the right place, then stand firm." And that's from Lincoln. So I thought that was like pretty appropriate for sometimes when get your shit together and then don't budge. So I thought it was pretty cool. What do you think, Rawls? Salsa man.
Sounds like good advice.
It sounds like something Lincoln would say too. Be sure your feet in the right place, then stand firm.
I just believe in who you are, believe in what you're doing, believe in yourself, and
I like that.
I don't know that we live in such a translucent world. Everybody kind of tries to blend in. If you do stand out, you're an outliner and an outcast, and I think that is a really good way of just saying be an individual and believe in it. And I think that's good advice. More people need to hear that, especially the younger generation, because they've been raised in a world where you're just another walking number with a device in your hand. And in this day and age, that's something people need to hear more of, probably.
Don't be afraid to be different. If you believe it, and stand for that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I resonate with it very well. So, but
yeah, Joel, any thoughts?
Yes, that's certainly a conservative position, right? So you have your values. If people talk about their values, but it's kind of related to what we were talking about last week when I said eventually time passes everybody by, and if you continue believing the same shit you think and you believe now, eventually you're going to be in trouble for having that opinion. Yeah. So I don't know about the quote. I don't know. It's fine, I guess, if you want to have your opinion and not change, but
I didn't say
sometimes some new information comes to light.
Absolutely. It doesn't say like you never change. It says the first part, be sure your feet are in the right place. So if you know what you know and you believe it, then you stand firm. Now, if something that you know changes, then I think you're more than within your realm to say, this is different now. And so now I believe this. But you believe something and you have a reason why that you do. And that's when you are being sure where you're at. And then you don't wishy-wash. So you might be the same opinion for the next 50 years. It might change because you learn something different or whatever, but you don't have to change just because everything else around you is. But I find that intriguing too, that you said that's an interesting conservative point.
Winds of change.
Richard, what do you think?
I like it.
There you have it, folks. He likes it. He's not the best color man in the world for nothing, folks.
No, I think it's I don't think many people do it. I think they do it, but they don't, because you don't know how many times like I'll make a statement, I'll get chastised for it, and then 5 or 6 people will message me, "Oh, I'm sure glad you said that." I was like, yeah, did you weigh in on public, or oh no,
where were you?
I might get fired or something. So I always think it's nice when you have I think that the way that society is evolved is that the person that takes a position and stands firm on it that might be contradictory to the rest of a group or groupthink, that's a rare thing, because it's so much more punished now. I guess in a certain way, social shunned, or however you get deleted from a platform or the square. And I honestly think most all politics and education, any big publicly focused organizations want to eliminate the amount of people that hold strong opinions that are not aligned with theirs. So I think it's very much in our world now a needed thing is to pick a spot and stand firm on it. But I think that it's extremely can be extremely costly for the people that do decide to do that. And if you like, you can lose your job, you can lose lots of money doing it. And I think that's just sad that we've come to a point in our society where just for holding a rational opinion that goes against the grain of others can actually get your life completely destroyed.
I think it's interesting that the turn that that statement took. I mean, it goes to show you where we're at as a society, because that, you know, make sure your feet are planted and then stand firmly with it. Like it, for Joel, it took you to, you know, we're in an ever-changing world as a society. We have to cohesively move together, and it just goes to show that how rare that is. And then with Richard's rebuttal to it, he talks about how you're chastised for having a strong belief, or how you're not fitting the mold. And if you look back in our history books, that description, all the people that changed history and took a chance and were great people in our society, they would have taken that stance. And I think where we're at from a political standpoint, and through our social media and all the platforms that have a voice, so supposedly now, they want to speak against it, against people that want to be that way. And that's so wrong, because we, the United States wasn't built on the foundation that shut your mouth and go with the flow. I mean, we were all people who were individuals and built this great country. And I think it's just sad that if you go down that road of having a firm belief and being an individual, you stand the chance of getting outcasted and thrown down the gutter, so to speak. But that's kind of a neat quote. So
It makes you think. I don't know if you've ever listened to it or not. Now I'm trying to recall. I think Paul Harvey did a thing about it, about the signers of the Declaration of Independence and everything that they went through after they signed that. And most of them either ended up dead or absolutely broke because of that statement and what they put their names on. And it was similar to that. It was like, it was completely against everything that was going on at the time. Like, no, this isn't right. This is what we're going to do. And we're signing our names to it. And it's one of these to everybody who doesn't think that way. And they paid the price big time, but that got us to where we're at. And you see things, I've not seen it personally yet, but I've seen a lot of people send screenshots around of the thing on Facebook of like, are you worried that some of your friends might be extremists? It makes my hair fall out. I mean, what kind of, and then it doesn't even compute in my mind that that's how they're approaching things. It's like, what does that even mean? Like, because somebody thinks differently than you, that they're all, you know, what's the realm of that? You might be an asshole, but you're not, you know, it just boggles my mind. And that and several other things I've heard this week too, but that's the one that seems to be the most. That's spooky, but
Fauci publicly held the line as to we need all conformists. There's two Americas now. There's the unvaccinated America and the vaccinated America. Mm-hmm. There's only one good one if you're looking at it from the public state, the state of the public, is there's only one narrative that's going to win. So
yeah, when you hear that they're going to go town to town and city to city and door to door and get people vaccinated, that's the dumbest statement I've heard in probably the last 50 years. And I've not been along 50 years, but I look back in history every once in a while. I'm like, that was just said out loud by the president and then the press secretary. So enjoy that one, kids. But again,
I got very well for him going door to door.
No,
I don't
that
know
will be bad.
To do it. That's the
other thing.
Somebody's gonna get hurt. Actually,
they can't even take a census, let alone go on and see. I'm here to check on your. Yeah, it's like on on Ace Ventura. I'm looking for Ray Finkel and a clean pair of shorts because that's what you're going to get. It's just beyond asinine. Again, it's about choice. It's always about choice. So
I bet it's like an idea that Joe Biden came up with. He was like, let's just go door to door and knock. And they're like, yeah, okay, fine, sure.
Don't
Joe.
say it out loud. Go
They'll
Christ.
just
Yeah.
let him, they'll give him something. They'll let him make one decision here and there. This is
Let's get ice cream. That's probably why they end up there. That's because is it time for ice cream yet? Yeah, let's go over here.
Yes, Joe. We'll get you 2 scoops. Don't worry.
You've been a good boy. You didn't say anything off the script or
Joe.
calling anybody you're not supposed to. Congratulations. Like I can't wait for people in either the next generation or it's everybody else keeps waking up and looking like, was that shit really happening out loud? Like in USA? Seriously? To live through the times, it'll be interesting. We shall see. But yeah, so again, listening to this book too, I can't think of the exact title. It's about the assassination attempt on Lincoln.
Attempt?
Well, there was one prior to him getting on the Lincoln Conspiracy by Brad Metzler. And before he was even actually in office, they were planning on getting rid of him. So it was interesting to. I'm only a few hours into it. It's a long book about some of the divisiveness that was going on at that time as well, and how they're, of course, somewhat historic, but it's not documentary, but pretty damn interesting, anyways. And so when I saw the quote by Lincoln, I was like, oh, sweet. So and then it turned out to be a good discussion. So that's what we like. Beautiful, kids. Beautiful. Outstanding. Well, we're just gonna roll casually and smoothly right into the Far Reaches Word of the Week. Does anybody have off the top of their head? I have one written down, but it's not that good. Anybody have anything they want to chat about? Since we're doing
I heard Richard said one earlier today, and I was like, that could have been a good word of the week. Never heard of it. It was Trummel, I think. Something to do with the train on fire.
Trellis?
The Trestle.
Trestle.
Trellis. Yeah.
I don't know what a trestle is.
It's the bridge that the train goes across. The trestle's good.
Yeah, just call it a bridge. That's what I call it. Got the wrong time.
But a bridge is Trestle? Trellis? Trellis is where your roses and shit growing, right?
Yes.
And a trestle, train trestle. Yeah. Trestle or SSEL. You know the spelling? Trestle Bridge.
I had to look that word up today to make sure the spelling was right, and it was what I thought it was.
Yes. Railroad Trestle, Trestle. So I'm trying to find like a pretty good specific definition.
It's racist. Don't look too far.
A trestle bridge is a bridge composed of a number of short spans supported by closely spaced frames. A trestle, sometimes trestle with SSEL, is a rigid frame used to support. Historically, a tripod used both as stools and support tables at banquets. So yeah, it is sort of a bridge, but it's much more closely braced. So many trestle bridges were built in the 19th and 20th centuries with the expectation they would be temporary. So I like it. So we will do that. Mine was food related since I was hungry when I thought about it. So perfect.
It's like the old West days. It's like their version of scaffolding.
Basically.
If it goes up in your block in New York, like you might as well move. You're never gonna have a view again.
Scaffolding is a permanent deal.
You'll stay up for years in certain places. It's crazy.
Hey, why it's good? Got a good thing going here. Why should we rest? Why should we hurry it up?
I think, New York has got a new mayor, so maybe he'll.
Do we know who it is yet?
It's the Adams guy, the black guy that was a former cop.
Oh, okay.
Conservative.
Huh?
The liberal conservative.
Yes.
This was a Democrat primary, but it's like assume that whoever wins
Is that pretty much going to have it? That was a Charlie Foxtrot of epic proportions, just getting to that point where they found like all these extra test votes and back and forths, and good God,
all these Democrats admitting like the election was sort of not rigged, but there were some problems, and they were openly talking about it.
Now, is this where they're doing that, whatever they call it, where you don't necessarily vote for who you vote for? It gets ranked. Is that what this crap was at?
Yeah, they do ranked choice voting now, I guess.
Yeah, whatever that. How stupid is that? Have you looked into that? Have you heard about this shit?
Yeah, I can see the pros and cons of it. I mean, there's definitely. I guess it makes sense like a little bit if like, well, okay, yeah, here's my first choice, and then if they're like, well, that person's not going to win, be like, okay, well then if he doesn't win, I'd want this gal. She's not going to win. She can't win either. And then, all right, how about this guy? My third favorite. That makes sense a little bit, right?
No. I mean, there's just too many things to go wrong and fall through the cracks and get all hammered up. I mean, it just has chaos written all over it.
It's a voting system of compromise.
That's not what voting is.
Voting can be whatever we want to assign.
Voting is like, that's the problem. Yeah, apparently,
absolutely voting.
Don't put it that way. I mean, like just the numbers to get that straight. Like, are you kidding me? How many places there is to totally hose that up? That's just destined for tomfoolery and like assholishness.
I don't know. You can do it on a computer pretty reliably, but they don't. I don't know how they're doing.
That's the other problem. It's like you guys can't count one for one, let alone when this guy gets 5 points and this one's got 3 points. And sweet Lord, if more than 4 people are voting, it's all hosed up. Like it's awful. Like you get to vote. Like that's the whole point about it. Like one person, one vote, kick ass. That's awesome. Go forth. But like picking 9 people and ranking them, and then that's got to get all tallied up, and like that's just destined for idiocy in my mind. I might be completely off track, but like the more complicated you make it and the more times it has to be checked and reran and like all these little holes in the sieve, it's just ways for it to go wrong.
I don't care either way, really. I get why they would do it. Yeah, it's not a vote A or B situation. Like, should you really be elected to govern a city when you really, let's say you only got like 20% of the vote, only 20% of the people really wanted you as their primary choice, and then you win? That wouldn't be fair.
I don't know, you ever get, if you only got 20% and you win, there must have been like 39 candidates or nobody gave a shit.
So you get
that's why there's like,
when you get
that's why there's primaries and everything else to weed people out before you get to the actual thing. That's why you have primaries and you have all these runoffs. That's how you get to that point where like, here's the candidates that we're looking at. That's what all that shit does before this rank stuff. So, you know, that's the whole point of it. Because if you can get 20% of the vote and win, there must be 80 candidates or 3 people voted to get to that point.
Yeah, there are like 15 candidates for this race.
And you can still have write-ins. Like that's still a legal way. Like you have to get signatures to get on the ballot. Like you just can't like email the town clerk and be like, hey, I want to be on the ballot. Like there's a process to go through for all of that. So at least that many people have to either be bought off or you have to forge enough signatures to even get on the ballot to be the potential asshole that somebody votes for. So there's filter 1 to even getting on the initial ballot. And then you can always do a write-in campaign. So if it's A, Micah, B, Joel, shit, you can write in C, Rawley, and Rawley might win. But that's how it works. I don't know why they're trying to make it even more confusing. And of course, it's probably under the guise of being one of my least favorite words ever now, equitable. But it just seems like it's just destined for a mess. If it was legitimate and people like kept track of shit and did it like you said, they could do it on a computer pretty easy. Sure. But we know that's not how it's going to happen. They couldn't even do it amongst their own primary in this thing. So I think it's just got bad written all over it.
I think if you could vote and then like get something sent to your phone that certifies what your vote was, that you can have forever, and then at any time they can grab all that and recount it all. I think that maybe we could, but as long as there's hackers, I don't think that we're going to be able to have an electronic solution.
No.
And I'm almost to the point, like we don't have to worry about it here in Lake County, but if I was anywhere else, I'd probably just want my entire community in wherever you're voting, and then everybody just be there, because I think that our voting system is completely broken. But
Yes.
speaking of novel ways to vote, we're actually going to try this, or I'm going to propose this at our co-op, because we can't ever find people to step up and take leadership roles. It's just an election lottery. So everybody that's they started doing this in schools, and they just find the people that are interested in running, or they get nominated.
Mm-hmm.
Then you just go into a lottery, and then you get picked out, and then you serve your term. What they found out is that it's actually more efficient, because the people that typically run for office, their only real skill in the world is running for office.
For office, precisely.
And to have a lottery where you just randomly pick people, you're actually doing better than what our current system is giving us as far as leadership. And it gives other people, and if you want to talk about equity, you just randomly picked. It's just an amazing podcast. It's Malcolm Gladwell. It's called
is it History Reformed or a different one?
The Powerball Revolution on Revisionist History podcast.
Okay.
And yeah, so we're gonna kick it around for our co-op, because everybody's a rancher and has a stake in the company. So
nice one.
But I think on a local level and regional levels, the lottery thing, I mean, why not do it?
Dude, I was thinking about this last year for like Congress. Like, it should be like jury duty. You get drawn, you go serve, you come back home. Like, welcome to America. I think that would be epic. And screw all these people that are 90 years old and been in Congress for 50 of them. It's ridiculous. And like you said so well, like the only thing they're good at is getting elected. But just put it in the pool, man, and you show up and you go do your thing, and then you go home.
I don't want a lot of people I see at jury duty in a position of authority.
Have you ever been around a congressman? Fuck. I'd rather carpool with a jury duty than spend a road trip with most congressmen across the street, man. I swear to God.
I've worked with this really put together guy from Arkansas when everything went to hell in 2008, and everybody had to go find jobs that they weren't used to. And he worked for the Arkansas governor. And he was probably the most masochistic, like chauvinist person I had ever been. I mean, he had a lot of endearing qualities, but like, he would not be somebody that I would choose to be a leader. But the way that his trajectory in life was going, he was going to be a high-ranking official, if not in the United States, in the Arkansas government. And he was all polished and looked all good, but deep down underneath, he had all the same problems. I'd rather have somebody that was transparent with all their flaws than somebody that's hiding a bunch of stuff in their closet. And I think a diversity of people, you can look at the Congress, you can say those people are not a very diverse group of people. And that doesn't matter what color they're all just power hungry. They're all come out millionaires. Obviously, they have no code of ethics, and they're all completely corrupt. So might as well spice some losers in there, because by God, we elect them wholesale right now.
Yeah, I would be 1,000% for it. Just draw it and show up. And guess what? It'd be pretty much common sense too. You wouldn't need 19 lawyers to read through 18 billion pages of idiocy full of crap. It would be pretty straightforward. That's how our laws should be. Very straightforward. Like, look at the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. It doesn't get much more straightforward than that stuff. Can you imagine if that was written today? It would be literally libraries to cover one article. It would be insanity.
I don't know why a law can't be summarized and put on one piece of paper.
That should be the law. Like, that's how simple and straightforward it should be. It should be on one page. Seriously.
There should be a law that makes that
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what there should be the law. That's the law, the new law, 1-page law that says it should be 1 page. That's it. Why? Why should it be so complex? Shit, man. It's
Almost
rules.
a paradox.
What's that, Joel?
Almost a paradox.
Yes, that can make some people go crazier than I am.
Yeah, Constitution's it's not a strict law.
Yes, it's still the most beautiful and plainly written document I think there's ever been. Think about it. Anything proposals. You're like, you know, that's ridiculous. Seriously. There we go. Hi, Richard. Here, I was worried that I was going to lose my power and we'd lose the recording. Richard's in Lakeview, so it's pretty close. I'll just keep looking outside too. Is there a storm coming in?
Yeah, it's we've got these cells coming over the mountains, and there's a bunch of, I don't know what they are, 30, 40 mile an hour winds just blowing like crazy. And so I'm sure I have wheel lines scattered everywhere that I have unhooked right now. That'll be fun.
Son of a machi.
No. But yeah, no, I was saying I got to go change pipe here in about 45 minutes. And
well, we're only got a few segments left. We can probably get it close to it.
No, we're good.
Yeah. But, so good word of the week, Trestle. And let's do anybody got to grind your gears?
Sure, there's plenty of that.
Oh yeah, there's plenty, but
So the New York City budget just came out for the year.
Yeah.
The New York City budget is $98.7 billion. Yeah, and there's an article in New York Post about because it's like their last year, so they got all that federal COVID money. And they're just what they're spending it on. It's outrageous, and it's. Let me find some.
98
I pulled it up to try to find
billion.
the list. Huh?
98 billion. Is that right?
Yeah.
Why Joel's looking, I had this brainstorm this week about this spending money exactly. And I think every year the federal government should have to say how much they put you on the hook for. How much that year of their spending was, I think every year you should get that in the mail and everybody should see what the politicians are doing to them. Because when you're making $25,000 a year, barely above poverty, and you get a bill that says your congressman spent on your behalf that you have to pay back sometime in your lifetime, let's say 125,000, probably a lot more this year. So yeah, I think that would start making people think.
Well, back in the day, I think it was World War I or II, but not that long ago, really. You used to get your tax, you get a bill at the end of the year. Here's your taxes. And when we went, I think it was World War II. Let's say it was World War II. We went to that war. Congress had the bright idea to go to monthly taxes so we have a more ready cash flow, which we now know is absolute horseshit. And so they're like, and after the war, of course, we'll stop, because that always happens.
Yeah.
And so they went to that method. And now people get all excited when you get $8 of your own money back. But can you imagine even it was like that now, where you didn't pay taxes every week or every month on your paycheck, but at the very end of the year, here's your gift from the government. And, here's what you owe: $12,000, $8,000, $60,000. I guarantee you there would be way more people looking into what we do with all the money we raise and where it goes. When you got the bill and it didn't come out and slowly bleed you to death like 1,000 paper cuts, or was actually, you earned your money to begin with and you got to keep it and do what you want, and then you got your bill at the end of the year. That would change shit dramatically. So the assholes that thought about that one to work it through of, we'll go back, we need a ready cash reserve for now, and when this is all over with, we'll go back to before.
So
yeah, that ship sailed.
I think there's like 9 million people in New York City. Out of the how many taxpayers are there? Maybe 3 million, right? So $57 million to provide re-entry housing with healthcare and employment counseling to ex-cons. That's 57. That's like I'm giving them, here's $15 for the effort. Then another 24 million goes to Precision Employment Initiative that will offer summer jobs to 1,000 people who are at most at risk in certain neighborhoods. Jail to Jobs program. It's insane. That's not the same argument.
Most of those,
like, here's 50 million for the Asian American anti-crime bill or program, and here's 10 million for the Puerto Rican anti-crime bill. It's like, can you just not tax me that money and I'll just keep it? And
that sounds very selfish.
it really gets to the point where tax is theft unless it's absolutely necessary that you take this money from me and for the greater good. I hardly think 90% of the shit they spend their money on is for the greater good, and then it's all pet projects. And once you start the program, then it's constantly you can't reverse.
That's funded. You can't let it stop.
They didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. And most of those things too, some way, shape, or form, I almost guarantee you, the person who brought that segment to the budget is tied in some way, shape, or form that they're going to get some of that benefit on the other side. So if it's like this, the anti-Chinese whatever thing, there's probably somebody that brought that bill that's got a cousin or they're a part of a group that is actually going to help facilitate that or run the program or blah, 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 or their cousin's going to do it or something. So it just circles right back. A, it sounds ridiculous, and B, I'm sure it comes back to somebody at a point because it's through an LLC or some kind of group that they put together, or that's what one of their donors wanted. But you're exactly right. This thing just goes into a hole somewhere.
The Hasidic communities, the Hasidic Jews that live in like Williamsburg and Bushwick in Brooklyn, they laid out like the millions of dollars that are going to like pay for their own police forces and their school buses and their schools, because they all go to like the religious stuff. They're not allowed to like really interact with everybody else. And they do that. That's like a well-known thing. That's like a huge voting block. So they're always getting handouts to win the votes, their votes, because they vote like in unison. You win that vote, you get all of them.
Which is interesting because they don't get much back. I guess they get some kind of grants or funding or.
Well, yeah. The important thing is that the city like leaves them alone. Like clearly, something's not right about how that community operates. With like the situation that like the women and children are in there and how sheltered they are and how unfairly they're treated. Like if you're going through any other court proceeding, like if you're getting a divorce, they don't go to like a city judge. They go to their own court system, and the women can't get a divorce unless the rabbi approves it, type of thing.
Interesting. I'm not very familiar with all that culture.
I would say that the government has probably got too bit far into regulating religion.
I would agree.
The fact that you have to go to the state to get a marriage license.
I agree. That seems odd, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, in a way it's odd that you get any sort of benefits for getting married too. Like you get different tax situation, right?
Yep.
Yeah. For somewhere that's all about separation of church and state, there's been a lot of conglomeration of church and state, one way, shape, or form.
I don't know. I think the women and children need protection in that community, and the way that the government's set up and the bureaucracy of that situation, it's a hands-off approach with the Hasidic community.
I would argue that they're not getting protected under the government system any better than they were getting protected under the system when the government wasn't involved.
No, they're no. Well, I
I
don't know. I
still
guess
know. I still know women that get beat on a daily basis, and kids that are abandoned in crack houses. Where's the government? Where are my taxpayer money? I mean, if I could go take care of it, I would, but I get thrown in jail. I mean, we have a whole bunch of homeless people and people that are in bad situations here in Lakeview. There's no government money for them, and sure as hell, whatever they're spending isn't coming down to the people that actually need it. So I'm curious as to where you think the money is where it is benefiting people, that it's going towards like child protective services and services for battered women and all that kind of stuff, because it's still very much a real daily part of our lives here in rural America. Maybe it's maybe the urban areas are free of sin now that the government is out there.
I almost drowned on the sarcasm. Yeah.
Hey, hear about all this money that goes to these special programs to help, poor people and women in bad situations. But I've never actually heard of that money or the other charities, even the church charities. And you never hear about any of this money being put to use. They take a lot of it in.
Oh, it's going somewhere. We've had a war on poverty for 100 some years now, if not longer. Anytime you have a war on anything, it's basically a cluster from the beginning, because it's not doing anything at all besides taking my money away and making me poor. That's what war on poverty is right now.
There was one today about renters that are past due on their rent. The federal program to supplement the rent for low-income people. I think a bunch of the money is missing. Very little of it's actually that was allocated toward it has been used. And the headline was, lawmakers are using this as justification to extend the eviction moratorium. So because the government can't get their shit together, they're going to violate your rights.
You deserve that for being a property owner. You're one of the most evil people there are in the world. Dick. That's what some people think, but yeah, that's a weird find the beginning of that circle. But this is the problem the government created to begin with, and now they're going to come solve it. Right? That's always worked, yeah. What could possibly go wrong? I was like think about the post office, for example. It's a classic example. Oh, there's so many things to grind gears on. So, and then it's good time to switch to the good old entertainment spot. A few weeks ago, I did a Far Reaches Extra with my former coworker and friend, Cindy Klein. Not former friends, still friends, but used to be coworkers. Cindy had a book she put out called, her first book was Welcome Home to Murder. And then she's had several other ones that just came out again the beginning of the month, I believe. So her third or fourth book. So I thought I would recommend that we talk about the first book. It's even for free download right now, I think, on Amazon. So you just got your Kindle, you can go download it for free. But it's called Welcome Home to Murder, a Molly Maguire cozy mystery. It's a simple read. It's a quick read. It's a fun read. But yeah, you can download it for free. If you need the first copy, I gave that one away. I can send you another one. But it's just fun. It's entertaining. And it's somebody we talked to on a Far Reaches Extra. So I thought I'd recommend it so we can shift gears a little bit. And then we'll go back to whatever we do next time. So that's the Welcome Home to Murder, but it's based in Ireland, so it's kind of fun. And again, it's like I would describe it as like a Murder, She Wrote episode. That's kind of how it is in a book. So you might enjoy it. We'll see. We did have a couple Reacher mails this week. Big D in Texas. Glad that Rawley finally got some better headphones or something, whatever he did. At least we can hear him now. So congratulations. And faithful listener Party Mom in California, she had some movie suggestions. The original Magnificent Seven is one of her favorites, so we'll put that on the list at some point as well. So We'll now roll on to finish up on a high point, hopefully, with best thing of the week. Rawls, what do you got for us, son?
Best thing week. Oh, got first cutting done.
Oh, yes.
Just what? It'd be great if it rained, but that's not something I can talk about right now. So I don't know. Yeah, the best thing of the week is definitely just getting through with first cutting and moving on to some cow work here in between, getting cows moved around and put out in the different pastures, and so that's kind of the highlight of my week right now. So
Pretty damn good highlight.
Yep.
Mr. Joel.
I had a pretty good time on Saturday down at the Shamrock on Main Street.
Oh, sweet.
Or off Main Street.
Yes, sir.
JD Kendall was playing music live on stage. That was cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice little celebration.
Had some fancy cocktails.
Where is the Shamrock? What is it in relation to?
Have you ever been on the underground tour?
No.
Oh.
So it's a block off of Main Street, and it's just around the side of a building, and you just go down the stairs, like the same street that Krabby's is on, just like the opposite end of the block.
it's actually only about a block from the liquor store.
It is just
Okay.
a block up, a block to the east.
And it's like always been a functioning bar, or they just open it up?
No, it used to be a long time ago, but they finally opened it up for some kind of intermittent commercial business, I think.
Yeah, it was like an old Western bar back in the 1800s. It's updated a little bit, but not like, it's part of a museum tour, essentially. So it's supposed to have has a lot of old artifacts and stuff in there.
The cool thing to go check out when you get to Pendleton is the underground tours. And that's the first stop usually as you go to the old bar that was downstairs. And then you wander through the laundry area and ice cream parlor and this and that and the other. But yeah, it was down below the ground.
I have a feeling I'll be catching crap for not taking that tour yet.
Most likely. And then used to be at least once a year they did Underground Comes to Life. So there'd be live actors, and that was always a fun time with me and Joel and Brian and whoever else at the main table in the poker room. Basically get to play act and drink whiskey and poker all day long and get in a fight every 15 minutes or so.
Someday I'm going to figure out where this thespian spirit comes in Pendleton.
Well, it's not really acting. You just show up at 9 and start drinking whiskey and start fighting and groping the dance hall gals. So it's really a stretch of everybody's thespian activities, but quite fun.
Yeah, the Happy Camion pageant. There's this
Dress up parade.
Yeah.
It's a great parade in a dress up parade.
You got 2 channels, so you just made up shit to do. So of course, that would be the same thing with Lakeview, but I guess we just expressed it in different ways. But
Yeah, you can't
Underground Comes to Life was a really fun time.
It's hard to get anybody to even sing out loud in Lakeview.
Unless it's like God Bless America or something, 4th of July or in your New Year's or something. Or Friends in Low Places, if that comes on somewhere, people just bust out into that one.
You love a good bar song.
Yes. I'd never thought about that, Richard, but you're onto something there with the all that stuff going on. But it was damn fun. So it's good to see that Brooks opening that up and got it kind of cleared to do that on an occasion. Kind of a happy hour, don't they, Joel?
Yeah, 4 to 7. They're doing it for probably another 2 months or so. On Saturday.
Awesome. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Had plenty of whiskey down there already. Might as well go pay for it at some point. That would be fun. So that was, throughout we like our little skit about on average about 4 an hour. And, as the day wore on, the fight got a little more robust. I almost tore half of Big Daddy's chest hair out one time because at the end I would slam him up into the wall and I got a little grabby and so that was pretty fun. But watching the different people come through and trying to figure out who was the dummies and who were real people was probably, they'd be like right up in your kitchen. I think, okay, so this one's definitely a dummy. That one is real. And then they'd say the key word and we'd all come to life and they start playing the piano and everybody'd shit their pants. But Gosh, that was fun. So very cool.
All a bunch of dummies.
Yes, that's my point too. Is we were all pretty much dummies. So yes. Cool. I'm jealous of the Shamrock. That would be quality. I think best thing of the week, obviously, for me was still getting to go to Texas and back and not getting thrown in jail for being a pain in the ass with TSA. So but it's good to see some old friends, meet some new people, and experience some good hospitality, and then make it back in one piece. So even though that the little airport here, there's 3 of those automatic gates you can get out of, and they had all blown up at some point, and so only one lane was open, and they were running it like off a iPad in squares. So it took just about an hour to get out of the airport parking lot. So I was seriously considering abandoning my vehicle and getting an Uber, but I made it. So yeah. So wow, already. Well, goodness. So anyways, here we are, kids. That pretty much puts us to the end. Are any final thoughts or words of constants or communications or pondering points?
Skipping my best thing of the week again. Twice in a row.
What's that?
Twice in a row, you're skipping my best thing of the week.
I thought you went already. Oh, well then lay it on us, man. Sorry, Brad Bird. You were gone. I forgot.
Yeah. So I had a really cool experience this week. I went out and put all the flags up in town. So for the 4th of July with the veterans of the foreign war, the VFW guys. Yeah,
Sweet.
It was not being a veteran myself. It was interesting to see their complete lack of organization in the morning and how they soldiered through anyways. And they bitched and griped at each other like old married couples. And so anyways, I went and helped them put them all up and rode in the back of the pickup. And then I went back that night and picked them up. We disparage like patriotic acts. I mean, the Democrats are making a big deal out of the flag and celebrating the 4th of July and all that kind of stuff. But I guarantee you, across the nation, there's so many little patriotic acts that happen, whether it's Memorial Day, Flag Day, 4th of July. And then you really sort of see the fabric of your community and that people do give a shit about the ceremony and the ritual of it all. And being raised that way is something that's what it'd be one of my values, to be patriotic. It seems like it's something that's lost. It's not lost. It's just
not being talked about. It
under the radar, and it's still happening. And you can't find a fault with any of the people that act that way. They're all, I'm sure they might have some skeleton in their closet, but as far as I can tell, they were all good, upstanding citizens and just out to do their part to make a little celebration for the community better. And so really got to reflect a lot on the value of our country and how lucky and fortunate we are, how even though everything sucks on the news, that we really still live around some pretty damn good people, and we should cherish every moment of it. And I think that when we get down, we should remember those guys are they feel the same way we do, and just know that there's probably a lot more people that feel that way than there are that don't.
Well said. Well said. I'm glad we didn't skip you. I tried to, but I'm glad we didn't.
Damn political soapbox.
No, it's so right though. Is if you just go, what you hear on the news is often not what's really going on. That's what they're searching to talk about. But I've never seen it anywhere I've been yet where people weren't proud of where they're at and what they get to do for a living, and and maybe just where I get to travel. I don't know, but I think most people are really proud of where they get to live, especially people who have had the beautiful opportunity to live in somewhere else and come here. The people that did my home inspection were from Venezuela originally and went through all that crap down there and got out of Dodge and couldn't be happier to be here doing what they're doing. And so, and I often find it funny that people really gripe about this country, never been anywhere else, and seeing how absolutely beyond craptacular it can be. And that's not saying we're perfect here by any stretch, but I still think we got a pretty good thing going and a lot of good people trying to do the right thing. So, don't believe everything you're reading here. And if you got any questions, just go out and get, just like Richard did, got involved in doing something like that around town. There's good people everywhere. Like Joel, go get on the school board or something, or run on town council.
I'm pretty sure anywhere across the country, if you showed up at the VFW in the morning on 4th of July, you could be involved in something.
Yes. I guarantee you that. That's for sure. Veterans Day, Flag Day, Memorial Day, 4th of July.
Needless to say, Richard will be going with me no matter how early it is next year.
That'll be awesome. I look forward to that. Rawley, any parting words of wisdom for us there, my fine sir?
No, really. No, I just I couldn't agree more with Richard on that. What he had to say about volunteering your time and paying the respect to those that have given us what we've got. We don't. I don't think we do enough for the veterans, and I think this day and age we do even less. So
Yeah, that's for sure. I need to look up that reference I was trying to pull out of my ass too about the fate of all the people that signed the Declaration. I think that's something everybody needs to read and review and understand, and just put yourself in that place. And that always helps me contextually when we're talking about things now. When you look at the documents that this country is founded on, like what was going on before that and what they were thinking about when they put that in. I think that's something we all could study more often, but definitely needs to be in school. But I think we need to take that up independently too. But anyways, we'll go beat that horse to death some other time. Joel, any parting words?
No, I'm looking forward to I'm looking forward to watching the new season of I Think You Should Leave just came out today.
Oh, is that on what's that on?
Netflix.
Netflix. I saw something came across my phone today on that and I haven't seen it yet. So
I was recently told that all these skits that he has, not all of them, but he used to like submit skits. They're all rejected. A bunch of them were rejected from SNL.
Oh, sweet.
He's had them and then made them.
Is he gonna get them out one way or another? Awesome. Yeah. Well, we'll start the wrap up then, kids. Again, thanks for always watching and listening. This was a little bit different tonight too. We did a live stream, so I'm sure that was highly entertaining for anybody that caught that. Again, if you got questions, comments, concerns, we do have an email, farreachespodcast@gmail.com, or certainly reach out to us on the Facebook or any of our accounts as well. We always look to reach your mail when it comes in and your entertainment suggestions and your thoughts and concerns. So we appreciate all that. Until then, just keep on reaching.
I have to turn it off.
That would help.
Oh, crap. Almost ended the meeting. I got to do the recording.